Well, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Today's date is Sunday, February 25th, 2024, the final Sunday in February. I'm so glad you could stop by and indulge me for the next hour. This is the Sunday video update. Joining me off camera, well, I thought was joining me off camera. Dad was just in here, but he must. Oh, there he is. He's coming back in to join me for this week's Sunday video update. Y'all can see him in the background. Amy, she's in the kitchen, um, on the phone, I think, right? Or doing something out there. But anyway, we are live on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. And as a reminder, or as a request, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The chat logs are open. Come on in, join in on the conversation. The rules are pretty simple. I mean, behave yourself or get the boot. So we do have a couple of comments in the chat, and I will read those. Yes, from none other than Chewing Off My Toenail, who is a weekly commenter in my chat log. He says, "This morning I woke up and stared at the ceiling, wondering if I should chew off another delicious toenail. I think I will today." Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. And on a more serious comment, he says, "I like your video about young talent and exposure. You made a lot of sense." Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Um, for those of you who probably aren't aware of what Toenail here is talking about, I did upload a couple of late night videos to this channel, one about marriage and why I never got hitched in that video that Toenail's talking um, about young talent exposure. It kind of stemmed from an incident that happened over the weekend. Um, I was showing, my support for a young talent, and I recorded a shout out video. And the next thing I know, I'm being blocked from the page. That was a loud yelp. Um, and my thing is and mind you, I am friends with parents of kids who are, in the movies and musicians and things like that. So we've had those conversations as well. And I understand both sides of the token. Okay. I understand there are lots of people out there who are out to do harm. They are out to do things that are not so nice. But because the friends that I have, because they had taken the time to know me, they know my position and they understand and they agree for the most part. Um, that when you introduce your kids into something that will make them known to the world, the whole world is going to see them, they're going to know them. And yes, that also includes strangers. That is something that you just have to take. It's part of the package deal. You're going to be exposed to people who that you're not going to know. That's just a part of that's what that is. That's what being famous is. You're going to be seen by people that you don't know. You're not going to just be famous to your friends and close family. You're going to be famous to the world. And they understand on that aspect. They agree with me. And I do understand that there are lots of people on the internet scouring the internet for kids. And I understand it. I get it. And they should be stopped. And matter of fact, I have reported quite a few, um, especially on Facebook. I've reported a lot of just people who are being weird, asking for pictures of feet and calling kids their husbands and all that shit. It's really gross. It's really disgusting. So in that regard, yeah, they need to be stopped. I've done my part of reporting these creeps to Facebook to no avail, which they do nothing. So now it becomes an exercise in futility. But nonetheless, I still do it because if I see it, I report it. And I think that's what everybody should do. If you see something, report it. Um, but in my case, all I did was recorded a shout out video. Didn't mean any harm by it. And they must have got weirded out by it. It's whatever. I'm not going to change who I am as a person. I'm always happy to help anyone I can. I try to be there for as many people as I can. And, you know, most of the time it works out and sometimes it doesn't. It's just the way the ball rolls. I wish them the best in success, but if you're going to write off your fans or people who are just trying to be nice and trying to be supportive, then your success is going to self-destruct because you can't get beyond the fact that people actually don't have evil intentions and they are only trying to do what's best for someone else. There's no strings attached, no hidden agendas, no, nothing evil associated with it. But it does happen. So, which I can understand both. I can understand both sides. Amy has entered the room, by the way.
Hello, everybody.
There she is, walking into the frame. What are you doing, Dad? Oh, we have some birthdays, some very important dates coming up this week. On Wednesday, my oldest brother Wayne has a birthday on February 28th. He'll be 47. I know I shouldn't put his age out there, but I don't think he'll mind. This Saturday, March 2nd, will be the 35th anniversary of my diagnosis with Wilms tumor. On the 21st, last week, it was the 35th anniversary of my hospitalization. That was when we found out that a week later we would find out that it was Wilms tumor, but I posted in the community tab of this channel a picture of the wristband that my mom had kept all the way up until she died. She actually held on to the wristband when I was initially hospitalized because I had a high-grade fever and a protruding stomach. And at the time, we didn't know it was cancer. And then a week later, March 2nd, we would find out. I was officially diagnosed on March 2nd. So there's that prominent date coming up. And on, let's see, next Monday is, I got a brother in the bedroom right now. His birthday is coming up on Monday, March 4th. So lots of important dates coming up, prominent dates. Huh? Okay. But there are quite a bit of prominent dates coming up, and I didn't forget my brother Wayne's birthday, didn't forget my brother Jay's birthday, and of course my anniversary of, I don't know, maybe anniversary is not the right word to use, but in any event, it is a prominent date that is a part of my health history. So, yeah, there's just a lot of that going on. So the week in review, that's what I'm here for. That's what I like to talk about. So I'll start with Dad. How was your week, Dad? It was busy. Yeah, it was busy. I actually learned, and I know this is going to come off as odd to most of you watching this, but I actually learned how to do oil changes on cars. I actually learned how to do oil changes on vehicles. I never knew how to do it before because I never really paid much attention to it, but I actually learned how to do it, and it's actually not that hard. It's really not that hard. The only thing I don't understand is the dipstick, like when you put the oil in. I don't know how to read the dipsticks yet. I'm sure it's simple. I'm sure it's easy, but all the other stuff is pretty simple. You just when you get under the car, usually on a hoist in a garage, or if you have vehicle lifts, like you ride it up on a ramp or whatever and put it in park or neutral or whatever. Well, it would be park, wouldn't it? If you put it on a ramp, it would be in park because you don't want it to slide. Basically, all it is, you got your oil pan and then you got your oil filter. You just got to find the right size wrench to untwist the nut on the drain plug. When you pull that off, you got to let the oil drain out. You put it into a big, I would use like a milk jug, like if you're doing it at home, like a gallon milk jug, let it fill up. That or just a regular bucket. And then when that completely drains out, then you try to untwist don't you put on the nut before you untwist the oil filter? Don't you put the nut back on before? Yeah, you put the nut back in it and then you start untwisting the oil filter. And you untwist it just enough to where that starts to drain out because there's holes on the oil filter where the old oil will drain out, and it's very hot. And you got to be careful not to burn yourself. And it's hot because it's the oil that keeps the engine from seizing up. So you let the old oil drain, and then after it's done, you untwist the oil filter, throw away. Then you get the new oil filter. If you're lucky enough to twist it by, you have to get a little oil, go around the seal on the new oil filter, and then twist it back in. And then you got to add quarts of oil into the reservoir under the hood of the car. It's really not hard. It's really not that hard. Which I think my vehicle, you got to add me. I think 5 quarts, 5 or 6 quarts, 4.5, 5. So if you do it yourself, it's expensive. It gets expensive because a quart of oil is not cheap. It's kind of pricey, and the oil filter, I don't know how much those run. Oh, so not much. Sometimes they're more, because you got to go by according to the size of the engine. You can't just put any old rinky-dink oil filter on it. It's got to be the same one. So like if you have a vehicle with a 4.3 engine, then you got to use the same oil filter that will work for a 4.3. But it's not hard to figure out. The only thing the only thing I'm trying to figure out is the dipstick part of it. I don't know how to read the dipstick. Maybe I am a dipstick. I don't fucking know. But it's still something I have to learn. But for the most part, I know how to do oil changes. It's pretty easy. And now I think I'm confident enough. Like, say, for example, if I want to do my own oil change on my own car, I could probably do it. And I could do it on my own if I have enough practice at it, if I have enough, just because I'm hands-on, and that's how I learn. I'm a hands-on guy. So that's how I would learn. And I did some hands-on jobs, just for good practice, and I think I pretty much got it down pat. I think Dad would agree. I know what to do. You just got to find the right size wrench to unscrew the nut and on the oil pan, and then you take out the drain plug, and then you do all that stuff. It's pretty easy. And I was actually, believe it or not, I was actually proud of myself because it's like I've never done an oil change on a car. This is new territory for me. Never worked on a vehicle a day in my life, and holy fuck, I actually got something. So yeah, I told my brother Jay, I said, now I look like a grease monkey. I said, I had grease all over my hands, and I got one of those grease rags in my back pocket. I kind of looked like Bruce Springsteen for a minute. It's like, yeah, the boss is in Chesaning. But yeah, it was quite the experience. I learned a little bit, and I did a tire rotation. We also did tire rotations, which the tire rotations are pretty easy. What's going on? What are you doing? What's going on, Dad? The dogs? Hold on, folks. What has he got? Ew, Scruffy. What's the matter with you? It's disgusting. But anyway, guys, sorry for the dead air. But I also learned how to do tire rotations, which that's pretty easy. You just, like, say, for example, you got the frame of the car, rectangle. The driver's side front tire goes to the rear passenger. The rear passenger goes to the front driver. The front passenger goes to the rear driver. The rear driver goes to the front passenger. So it's like a crisscross. And that was fun. That was easy. I took a tire off, and Dad says, just let it bounce, Jared. When you take the tire off, just let it bounce off the ground. Bring it off a little bit, and then just bounce it. Let it bounce. But the thing is, I don't want to damage a tire doing that, because that's well, I mean, that's in my mind. It's like I don't want to damage a tire doing that. But yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess I didn't consider that. But yeah, I learned a little bit auto mechanics. My dad is a mechanic. He's been a mechanic for years. Um, and watching him do stuff, and it's like I got a little bit hands-on myself, and it's like, "This is cool, man." I actually feel confident that I can actually change my own oil, but I just gotta know what size. I think my engine is a 4.3, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to look. I'd have to look at the optics of the engine, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4.3, and I just get a, oil filter, buy some oil, probably maybe 5 quarts of oil, because my car does need an oil change. I could actually do it myself, but, you know, yeah, I could do it myself. Might wanna get a pair of gloves maybe? I don't know. Do you use gloves when you do oil changes? I just have to figure out which size wrench will fit the. Yeah, a grease rag, yeah. Yeah, a grease rag, but I could probably do it myself. Um, and then don't you because I know we were when we were also applying pressure to the brake to we were bleeding the brakes, right, right. But that's nothing to do with oil, right? No, I didn't think so. Um, now when I put the oil in, this is something I'm trying to understand too. So when I apply the new oil into the reservoir, is the engine on or off? Off, okay. Yeah, because it creates pressure. Yeah, right, yeah, right. Yeah, the dipstick. Okay, alright. 'Cause that was something else I wasn't sure, because I know when you turn the engine on, it creates pressure, and then the oil gauge goes up, and then, you shut it off, and then yeah, okay, I think I got this, man, it's easy. It's pretty easy. Um, the things that sound, um, difficult on vehicles, I mean, granted, there are a lot of big jobs on vehicles that may potentially be, you know, just really big jobs. But oil changes are simple. Once you get the hang of how to do it, and you know which size oil filter goes on, and it's pretty easy. It's an easy job. But anyway, um, I did learn a few things this past week. I learned how to do oil changes and tire rotations, and I learned that people tend to have sticks up their asses, which I kind of already knew that. But back to what Toenail was saying about the video I uploaded, young talent and exposure. I kind of wanted to touch on that a little more. Again, I am friends with people whose kids are actors, actresses, musicians, and they understand my position because we're friends and they know that I show my support for their kids and always have and always will. No strings attached, no nefarious intentions or ill will or anything like that. It's all just a friend helping a friend, nothing more. But I do understand their point of view as well because when you are the kids are famous, okay? They're in movies or they want to be famous musicians or whatever the case may be, something that's going to bring fame to them in their lives. They're going to have a huge following. It does open the door for predators, especially when these are kids who are trying to make it big. So I understand, I'm not denying the fact that there aren't bad people out there. Of course, there's bad people everywhere, and in all aspects, not just singing and not just acting or whatever the case may be. They exist. They walk among us. That's just a part of life. And I wish it wasn't, but it is. But I understand their situation too. Like I understand their point, and I understand that yes, there are actual creeps out there who are up to no good. They scour the internet specifically and primarily for children, prepubescent children, for the most part, and they've had bad experiences with people. So I can understand where if it's happened more than once, like a few times, and then say a guy like me comes along, not meaning to cause any intentional harm. I'm just saying, hey, I recorded a shout out video. Go and check out the channel. I mean, when you're on YouTube, it's commonplace, like I said in the video. it's commonplace. It's YouTube jargon. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. That's what we all say. All content creators say the same thing for the most part. That's just what we do because we want to build that following. We want to build a huge, or if not a huge, at least a nice size following. I don't even have 500 subscribers on this channel. I have a little over 400. On All Things Jared, my other channel, I have over 500. So, and that channel, All Things Jared specifically, is for shout out videos. And the thing is, when I record shout out videos for certain channels, those people usually subscribe. And the more shout out videos I have, the more subscribers I get. So when I get this nice size following, and I notice that there are other channels who could use a boost in subscribers, and a bigger following, I record the shout out videos, not only to bring attention to that particular channel, but it also shows my current subscribers that there is another channel to go subscribe to, which hopefully with any stroke of luck, my 500 subscribers will go and subscribe to this channel that could use the boost. So there's 500 additional subscribers for this channel. It's all, there's nothing more that goes to that. There's nothing more to that. It's just basically what you see is what you get. I record shout out videos to help boost subscriber numbers for other channels. That's how you get a following. That's how you get a viewer base. Much like when I upload content to this channel, there's a lot of content on this channel that grabs the attention of people who just casually check out YouTube and try to find certain things. Maybe my channel will have what you're looking for. Maybe it won't. Maybe I talk about things that you're just looking to see, hey, like a confirmation bias thing, which I'm not, it's whatever. But if you're looking for a channel that has content like, like for example, not married, no kids, I'm sure there's lots of people out there who could use some thoughts from other people in that regard, because they may be in my situation where they're in their late 30s, they're not married, they don't have kids, etc. So I try to provide that kind of content, and I get a bit random and sporadic in subjects when I record the videos. But that's what I do. That's what content creators do. We are always looking for ideas, things to talk about, right? And when other people might want to know what the opinions and views are of other people, if we share our thoughts, there's a chance that, okay, maybe those people will see it from a different perspective, and then they'll rethink their position on things, and they'll be like, you know what? Jared proves a good point. Or, you know what? I didn't think of it that way before. But that's part of it. And I like doing YouTube stuff. I love being a content creator. I really, excuse me, I really need to, I need to upgrade my video editing software, and I'm thinking I might have to pay for an upgrade. But if I have to pay for an upgrade, then so be it. I'll just save up some money and pay for the upgrade. That way I can bring better videos to my channel. I can create more quality content for my YouTube channel, and that will help to boost my subscriber number, which will turn out fantastic, I think. Because right now it's just kind of guerrilla style, it's just avant-garde video content creating on a YouTube channel. It's not a huge YouTube channel. I don't have a huge following. I would like to at least get 1,000 subscribers, at least on one of my channels, because I don't have 1,000 subscribers on either of my channels, this one or on All Things Jared. But I just got to keep working at it, got to keep cracking at it, and hopefully, maybe eventually I'll get there. I want to make some videos about like my DMX lighting setup, because I have DMX lights, and I want to create videos showing my light shows and things like that, and kind of give like a step-by-step tutorial on how to program DMX lights, because I have a DMX controller, and it's pretty cool. I really enjoy creating light shows with my DMX controller and my DMX lighting setup. But there's a lot that goes into it, and It's not hard to figure out. Once you get the hang of it, it's just like an oil change. Once you get the hang of it, once you figure it out, it's not so bad. It's pretty easy. Um, but yeah, I would like to boost my subscriber number much in the same way that I record the video shout outs for other channels to help boost their subscriber number. And I get a lot of guff on my All Things Jared channel about, well, what is this? You're recording videos just for kids. I record videos for everybody. I record videos for everyone, not just kids. Between All Things Jared and this particular channel, I record videos for everybody. There's no ill will, no nefarious intentions involved. It's just what I like to do. And my videos, in some way, not only do they help other people, but they bring a smile to someone who needs a smile, someone who needs a positive message, someone who is just looking for some kind of solace and some solidarity in what they do. I don't have a problem with creating a video that says, you're important, you're awesome, you're amazing, the world needs you. I do that all the time. And it's not just me blowing smoke up anyone's ass. I do it because I genuinely mean what I say, and I'm always genuine in the things I say. Um, but it's just when people look at it, they overthink the scenario and they take it the wrong way, and it does get a bit frustrating because I am not the person that they think I am, and I'm really not interested in trying to prove them wrong. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and I'm just gonna keep being myself, take it or leave it. Uh, I'm not interested in correcting anyone's perceptions of who I am because I'm just going to keep living, doing my thing, doing what I want to do, doing what makes me happy. And that's pretty much the message that I try to put out to anyone who is just kind of feeling down and out on their luck. And, I enjoy creating the videos and I enjoy sharing bits and pieces of my life with people. Um, I'm not everyone's first choice. I'm not everyone's biggest fan. There's a lot of people out there who don't like me, and that's okay. I'm not losing sleep over it. But then there are also people who don't like me for the wrong reasons, meaning that they're instructed to not like me because this group of people over here is anti Jared. So they have to go along with that if, in fact, they want to maintain their support, which I think is bullshit. We call that being a sellout. Uh, and this guy here is not a sellout. I don't stop communication with people because I bend to the will of the demands of other individuals. If I'm being put in a position where I have to pick and choose who I can and can't be friends with, then the person who is forcing me to make that decision will not be in my life. There are people, listen, there are people out there right now who, for whatever reason, they don't like me. And I'm not really fond of them either. But we share mutual friends. I have friends who are friends with people that I don't like, and they are friends with me. They don't, those people don't like me, but we share mutual friends. It's whatever. I'm not gonna put my friends in a position to say or to make I'm not gonna put them in a position where they have to choose. Well, it's either me or them. There's no in between. I'm not gonna do that. Um, however, and there is an exception. If you are friends with someone who knowingly, willingly did something horrific like rape or murder, and you associate with them and you're trying to make excuses for their disgusting, foul behavior, then I would probably just write you off because there is no excuse for murder or rape or anything of that nature. But if you're someone if you're actively going to defend atrocities, then I don't see much of a point in being friends with anybody who's going to be in defense of atrocities such as murder and rape. Um, and I wouldn't expect them if that were the case, if the shoe were on the other foot, and let's say, for example, I was in jail or prison for doing something horrific. I don't expect though anybody to be friends with me. I mean, it's a despicable thing to do. Um, so I wouldn't expect any of those people to be friends with me. But I I I I would like to think I understand where I mean, because it was, and as I pointed out in last night's video, yes, it was an 8-year-old little girl who was playing a piano. She was live on the Facebook page. Everybody was on there. We were saying, "Well, that's awesome, it's great." And, complimenting her on doing a great job. There was no one was being foul, no one was being suggestive or dirty. Everybody was getting along. And I commented, I said, "Hey, you're doing a good job. I'm from Michigan too, and I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing and you're gonna be going places in your life." And then I told them, I said, "Well, I recorded a shout out video for her on my YouTube channel. If you can't find it, I'll send you the link." And she says, "Okay, we'll check it out." And that was the mom. Well, I sent her the link, and the next thing I know, I'm being blocked from the page. It's like, okay, that's weird. But I guess I can understand if she's had prior bad experiences with other people where they actually have, in fact, been foul or disgusting. I can understand how her defenses might be off, because I don't wanna just write her off as a lousy parent, because that wouldn't be fair. But it could be the case where she's probably had other bad experiences, and she probably had that natural instinct to just go on block because it's like, "Well, this is weird. I've been down this looks like a familiar path, and I'm just gonna be more proactive in protecting my daughter," which, okay, no arguments. But at the same time, when you want your kids to be famous, that's the cost of being famous. They have to be known to the world, and that includes strangers that you don't know, people you don't know. But you should take the time to get to know them before you just go and assume something, because you might be wrong. And I've learned from that mistake. Not everybody is as they seem, both good and bad. There are some people that tried to tell me something horrible about one individual, and it's like, well, personally, I've never gotten that experience, so I'm just gonna go along with my instinct until such time as they show me that dark side that you're accusing them of. Then I will make decisions based on my own experience. I don't just go by he said, she said. I would have to see that for myself. And if I don't see it for myself, then I'm not gonna follow along with what the status quo of people are telling me to do. I can think for myself. I have my own brain. I have my own thoughts in my own brain, and I can make my own decisions. I don't let people influence my decisions, especially decisions of which are uninformed decisions, because I'm not informed, I'm not educated, I don't see evidence that would substantiate your claim that this person over here is horrible and terrible. If I see it myself, then I will make my decisions based on that, but not what a group of people tell me. I'm not influenced by group thought. I am an individual, I make my own choices, and if whether you agree or disagree, that's entirely up to you. I'm not losing sleep. I'm not gonna change who I am just to satisfy a group of individuals because they have this image of me in their head that doesn't match up with who I really am and what I'm really about. Um, and I know I've rambled on. Dad, was there anything you wanted to talk about? Dad's just tired. Um, because I'm just kind of ranting. But the thing is, too, there's a lot of maybe perhaps new viewers on this channel, and I welcome you all to this channel. And if you're not familiar with what I do, I go live every Sunday, or at least try to go live every Sunday, and talk about the week in review and talk about key points and highlights of the past week. And this is, I'm just an everyday average guy, I'm not better than anybody else. I don't claim to be better than anybody else. I'm not pretending to be better than anybody else. The only person I'm trying to be better than is myself compared to yesterday. So I'm just like anybody else. I have feelings. I get pissed off at a lot of things. I have opinions, as you can no doubt tell by visiting my channel between the open thought videos and my daily rants and the Sunday video updates. I'm always, coming up with ideas, or if I have a thought, I like to put it out there into the internet world, because the things I think about, other people may not consider, and I like to trip the imagination. I like to get people to think, before they, you know, before they continue to make the same mistake, or before they continue on the same path doing the same thing according to the same pattern. If I introduce something new, it might somehow influence someone to think, and what they do with those thoughts is up to them. Is what I pointed out earlier. Like I uploaded a video about marriage and being child free, and how I'm not married, and how I'm currently single. Because I know there's a lot of single people out there. In fact, there was a video of a young man. I think he's in his 20s. And I watched his video, and he says, "Man, I'm just not fucking good enough for any woman. No woman wants me. I'm not attractive. I'm not worth loving." And it was a pity party to some extent. But it still kind of reached in my heart, because it's like, I know what that kid's talking about. I've been in his shoes. The only difference is the generation. The kids nowadays, when it comes to dating, and even the grown-ups, even the adults, we're in the swipe left era, was what I like to call it, where, I don't want Karen today. I think I'll have Sally. And then tomorrow I'll check out Kelly. And then the day after that, Susan, and then Paisley, and then Brooke, and, and then just on and on and on. My generation, even for my generation of kids growing up, we actually had to go out and meet people. We actually had to get phone numbers from girls that we liked, or, we give girls our phone numbers. We actually had to go and meet people. We couldn't, swipe a date. We couldn't go through and just keep swiping left or swiping right or whatever. And we didn't have a phone. We didn't have a device that made it easy for everybody to be so just connected now more than we ever have. Um, it's it's a different time. It's a different era. And so now I understand why the kids, the younger generation, why they have it so much harder, because it's not like when I was growing up, or when my dad was growing up, or when my brother was growing up, or even when Amy was growing up. It wasn't like that when we were growing up. We didn't have devices. And even my generation, late 30s, we didn't have this technology when we were kids. We had to actually go out and talk to people. And you couldn't hide behind a screen talking shit about somebody else, because even my generation, we'd say it to your face. Now, with this technology, it has turned this country into a nation of cowards, passive aggressive cowards. You can say and do whatever you want without repercussions. Um, and you see that a lot, especially on Facebook. You see people just going at each other and calling each other names, and just being vile and disgusting and vitriolic with each other. And it's like, wow. I keep scrolling. I don't put my 2 cents in. Um, but I don't really have that problem on Facebook now. I don't have people coming at me saying a bunch of stupid shit, because I don't have a problem putting anyone in their place. It's just, you know, I prefer not to do it on Facebook. If someone has a problem with me, take it up with me. Don't be a coward. Bring it to my attention, and we will have the discussion. If there's something I do that you don't like or you don't agree with, bring it to my attention. We'll have that discussion. But that doesn't happen a lot. It's usually behind the screen cowardice of people, because they don't have to say it to my face, and they don't run the risk of having their fucking teeth knocked down their throat. Although I'm not a violent person, but, um, you just never know with people. If you approach me and you said something, you wouldn't know the difference. You would be shaking in your boots. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to get hit if I say anything. Or you have some asshat or sideshow clown who just thinks they're Mr. Tough Guy and they're going to beat everybody's ass. There's that to contend with too. So, but I like to write in my journal a lot. I've been writing poetry, which I'm going to be creating some poem videos here pretty soon. I'd written 2 fresh poems. The names of the poems escape me. Uh-oh. Where Are You Now is one of them. And the other one is A Warrior's Dream. That's what it's called, A Warrior's Dream. I almost forgot. Holy shit. I'm getting old. I think Dad fell asleep on the couch behind me. Did you fall asleep, Dad? I think he did. He fell asleep on the couch. But I'm here until 4 o'clock for those of you who would like to join. You still got another 20 minutes. That hour goes by quick. Yeah, he did fall asleep. Holy shit. I talked my dad to sleep. Oh no. I didn't think my voice was like sleeping medicine, but it is. So, let's see here. I I tell you what, I got something in the mail yesterday from a cancer warrior, and my heart is still just a flutter. It was from a little cancer warrior in another state, from out of state, and she sent me a picture. It was like a drawing, like a bird drawing, and I'm gonna put that in my journals. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna say what state she's from or the city or whatever. But um, I'm actually gonna just put it in my journal, and I'm gonna cherish it forever. And I'm going to remember this little warrior and the happy moment that I had that I got from a warrior who sent me a drawing. It was just the cutest thing ever. She and a little girl. She put smiley faces and hearts on it, and it's just the cutest thing. And I can prove that it's a drawing because here's the paper. Um, but in any event, let's see if I can cover the name here. That's the drawing. I mean, isn't that just the cutest thing you ever saw? It's just so cute. So, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put that in my journal. She did very good, by the way. It's very good artwork, even if it is scribbles. Scribbles on paper is still art in my view. Most people think, well, that's not art. That's just scratches and scribbles and dribbles. Well, it's still art because the idea of art is being creative. And this little lady created something for me specifically, and to me that means a lot. That means quite a bit. And she wanted me to have it, and I will keep it always. I will put it in my journal for safekeeping and as a keepsake. So thank you to the little lady who sent that to me in the mail. She actually sent it out Monday because I talked to her mom in Messenger, and she says, "Did you get your scotch yet?" And I said, "What scotch?" Um, and I asked her, I said, "Well, when did you send it out?" And she says, "On Monday." And so no, I didn't get it yet, but when I get it, I'll let you know. And it arrived in the mail yesterday, so it's like cool, and I enjoyed it. And like I said, I'll put it in my journal. There'll be a special spot for that. And I keep everything I get from the Cancer Warriors. They send me pictures, or they send me stickers, or they send me, you know, even if it's just a video greeting, which I've gotten before. Um, it's always nice to get things like that, and it just shows you that it shows me that I can do things still. I can do things, and there are still people in the world who appreciate the gestures when you write letters or do shout out videos or whatever the case may be. There are still people out there who appreciate the gestures. And I'm not just someone who's looking for attention or trying to make a name for himself, but I'm someone who speaks personally and directly from childhood cancer, as I pointed out any number of times before, that I'm not speculating. I'm telling you the events of my story as they unfolded. And this is the part, I mean, I always wish my mom was still here, but this is where I wish my mom was here because she could be a little more in better detail about specific events during my battle and after the battle. because mom had a lot of stories to tell, and I can remember most of them, but she's not here to verify. So I don't remember exactly the specifics of a lot of the stories that mom would tell me. But yeah, 35 years is it's a long time to be separated from something like that. And I remember they told me that I wouldn't live to be a teenager, and here I am. I'm gonna be 38 here in about 4 months, give or take. So I think I beat those odds. I think it's safe to say I beat those odds, but I do know that I'm not gonna be around forever. I'm not gonna live forever. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with it. Um, but while I'm here, I can't think about death. I can't think about dying. I gotta think about the here and now. I have to live for today, and I have to do things even if there's people out there who don't approve of anything I do, I'm still gonna do it, because it's me. This is what I like to do, and I like to help people. And we did find out, earlier or actually, I found out earlier today that that a person that my family has known for years had passed away. Um, Her name was Pam Stevens. She lived in Chesnang, and she was very sick. And so I send my condolences to Pam's family. I'm very good friends with her sister Janet. Matter of fact, when my mom was a little girl, Janet used to ride her bicycle over to my grandma's house to see my mom and to play with my mom because they were pretty much kids together. Um, and I'll probably try to get a hold of Janet today, and offer my condolences and get that out of the way. And I know it sounds mean when I say to get that out of the way, like, not a big deal. Well, it's a huge deal. It was someone's sister, someone's mom, someone's aunt, someone's daughter. It's always a huge deal. But what I mean by get that out of the way is to do it before I forget, before it slips my mind. I want to make sure that um, I'm able to talk to Janet and the family before I forget. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna pay my respects to Janet and Pam's family. But she was really sick. She was sick for a long time, and I've known her my whole life. Even when I was a little kid, I remember, Pam and Bobby. Bobby was her boyfriend because they were never married, and I remember them both. And yeah, now they're both gone. So I will have to remember to pay my respects and to show my support to Pam's family. And yeah, it's too bad. And there was a councilman who passed away over the weekend. And if you're watching this specifically from Flint, Michigan, or Genesee County, a councilman named Eric Mays had died. He passed away. I don't know what the cause of his death was. I don't know how old he was, but he was a councilman who he when he would go to those council meetings, he would create a big, just a big interruption. He would create a scene. I don't know if you call that being passionate or maybe drunk. I don't know, because I don't want to say he was an alcoholic. I don't know what his vices were. It's not important, but um, he was I would say he was very passionate about his work. And um, so I found out that he passed away. Now I don't live in Genesee County. I live in Saginaw County, but it's big news in our area right now, and it's just a shame. It's a shame. And some other big news coming out of our area is we are expecting severe weather on Tuesday. Can you believe that? I was shocked when I read it. I looked at a map because they have a highlighted area on a map of Michigan, and it outlines and details the potential for severe thunderstorms. Mind you, this is February, in Michigan, where usually during this time we get snow. We don't talk about severe thunderstorms. We don't talk about thunder and lightning and floods, and we don't discuss those things. That's on the table right now for us in terms of weather here in Michigan, where they're talking the potential for severe thunderstorms on Tuesday, and the temperatures are expected to be in the low to mid 60s in February in Michigan. Um, it's it's and I know most people say, well, yeah, Jared, but that's typical for you guys. Strange weather is typical for us. I mean, we really haven't had much of a winter. I mean, it's been cold. We've had some cold snaps, but we really haven't had a major, big time winter setup like we have in years past. Um, I don't know. We get some really funky weather here. One minute we've got snow. And by the way, after the thunderstorms, they're predicting rain and snow like a day or two after. So I think on Wednesday, they're talking snow again after severe thunderstorms on Tuesday, which is just it's bizarre, but it's Michigan. And if you're familiar with the weather of the Midwest, we also sometimes get thunder and lightning with snowstorms, which enhances the snowfall totals, especially if it's a blizzard. Um, we get thunder and lightning with snow, and that leaves us shoveling out underneath of 20 inches of snow or more. It's really, really weird. And other people in other states are like, "Well, you get thunder and lightning with snow?" Yeah, we call it thunder snow, and it is a real thing. It is a phenomenon, and it's pretty cool. It's phenomenal. I think it's pretty cool because the lightning reflects the snow on the ground. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Freaky but cool. I really like that. I enjoy it. To hear thunder and to see lightning with snow on the ground is just probably one of the coolest things that Michigan has to offer. Um, it's pretty cool. So so we are down to the last 8 minutes of the Sunday video. See, I just kind of randomly talk about shit, and I don't know what in particular that I would like to talk about. And by the time the Sunday video update ends, I'm gonna remember what I wanted to talk about and be like, "Fuck, I forgot to mention that." Um, it happens almost frequently, almost weekly. It happens. I'll get to talking about other things and forget that there were some key points and issues I wanted to discuss, and then I get totally sidetracked with other things. And by the time the Sunday video update ends, it's like, fuck, now I remember what I wanted to talk about. And yes, I drop F bombs on this channel. I don't swear on the All Things Jared channel because I want that channel to be family friendly where kids and adults can come and check it out, see what I'm about. But on this channel, this is like the uncensored version of Jer Bear, where I say words like fuck and shit and asshole and bitch and those kinds of words. Words I wouldn't say on All Things Jared. Um, I like to keep that. This channel is where it's at for me because I can actually be real and free and open. But on All Things Jared, I use that channel specifically for video shout outs and um, to just keep it on a respectable level. I don't want to use profane language on All Things Jared. I want for people to go to that channel and see a better side. If you want to see the real side of me, you come here. Because on this channel, I'll say whatever the fuck I want as long as it's within reason and I'm not using slurs or anything like that, which I don't use. I don't use racial slurs at all or homophobic slurs, which I don't. Um, but yeah, there's that other side. I can be real on this channel and on the All Things Jared channel. It's like, okay, I got to keep it respectable so kids can see it. I don't want to, I don't want them to be drawn to a channel where there's profane language and swearing and all that shit. Um, I'll keep it civil and real over there, but here I get to really and truly be me, which I would not. Uh, I wouldn't recommend that kids come to this channel for the swearing and all that stuff. But in any event, I want to have both sides of that I guess you call it a spectrum on YouTube, where you get to see the real me and then the I guess you would call it the watered down version of me, which I'm cool with that. Um, because I know there's kids who watch YouTube and don't find this channel. Go find All Things Jared. There's no swearing on that channel. Because if you come here, you're gonna find that f bombs are a predominant thing here. Um, and that's why I don't really share this channel on my Facebook because you know I'll do the All Things Jared. That's the more watered down version, and that channel's just me talking about other channels. Like, hey, go and follow this channel. Go subscribe. Check them out. And I have more shout out videos to do in the future, and I'm going to get those out of the way. And it doesn't take much. The shout out videos usually last roughly about 30 seconds or so. They're not very long videos. I'll do like a little, I don't know if you call it a panoramic view of where I'm at, but I'll kind of move the camera around and then I'll stand in front of it and say, how's it going, guys? Jeremy here with another subscribe alert. Be sure to check out Bloppity 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 Blue, or, whatever the name of the channel is. And then I'll finish it off by saying that is Bloppity Blue or X whatever from Jer Bear. And then I'll end it on that note. And I'll leave a link to their YouTube channel and hopefully boost their subscriber number. But tonight is a Sunday flashback with Dan Richards on 103.9 The Fox. And before I sign off today, I will leave a link to the station's website so you can go and listen. And you can listen in at 7 o'clock tonight. Okay, someone just messaged me. Well, I like their playlist. Bargain by The Who? I don't think I've heard that before. Bargain by The Who, huh? I'll have to add that song to my collection. Listen to 103.9 The Fox. Here. Okay. So I'm going to put that link into the chat log because nobody's watching, so who gives a fuck? I'll still put that in the chat log. There we go. So it's a song called the Bargain by The Who. I'll have to download that and add it to my music collection. I am now officially over 7,000 songs in my collection. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of music. And there are songs that I have in my collection that I haven't heard in ages. I haven't heard it in quite a long time. And so when I find them, it's like, oh yeah, I'll add that one. I remember that song. Or I'll set the computer to shuffle and it's like, oh, I remember that song. I haven't heard that one in a long time. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I always add more songs. I have a lot of drive space. I have over 7,130 songs, I think now. I can't remember the exact number right off, but yeah, I've got a lot of music and a lot of drive space still available. I've added some music by Greta Van Fleet, which they are Michigan boys, and of course I've got Billy Strings. Billy Strings is a Michigan kid, and yeah, just a lot of awesome talent comes from Michigan. I just wish that person would actually take the time to appreciate the fact that I had good intentions. I wasn't trying to be gross or anything like that. What's up? Who's that? Okay, well, she's yeah, yeah. Okay, we got company, so yeah, it's 4 o'clock now. I'm gonna wrap this up really quick because we got company, and I don't want them to. They might not want to be seen on camera, so I'm going to wrap this up. It's the 4 o'clock hour anyway. My name is Jared Fuller. Thank you so much for stopping by and indulging me for the past hour. Dad, any quick words you want to say? Be safe out there. Well, it's 4 o'clock officially, so I love you all very much. And there we have it. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I'll see you next week. Bye.